welcome to another episode of the Sean Farrell Podcast. I am Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. Jesus Christ died and he rose again. Let's get into it. Well, actually, before we get into it, I guess we're going to get into it. So, as you probably have seen, I've been absent for the past couple of days. Well, what happened was this. I was trying to clear up some space on my laptop because my disk was almost full, and I was trying to clear out some space. In the process of clearing out some space, I also cleared out my files, which I use to bring you all content. Okay, and so when I lost my files, I just decided to reset everything, and I was able to regain them, and so here I am back again. It's been a few days, and I've wanted to talk about and I made a video, but it wasn't uploading properly, so I had to take that video down several times. But here I am, and let's not waste no more time. Let's get into it for real. Okay, so there was a Asheville Academy in Weaverville, North Carolina. Okay, they had two suicides in the month of May. There was a 12-year-old girl who died by suicide on May 29th, and there was one who died May the 3rd. Okay, so 12-year-old girl died by suicide. That was the second suicide in May. Asheville Academy is a residential treatment center for girls ages 10 through 14. Ages 14 through 18 on a case-by-case basis. Okay. And like I said, the previous suicide involved a 13-year-old girl earlier in May. Okay. So what do I say? Suicide affects everybody of all ages. It affects men, women, children, as young as 10 years old are ending their life by suicide. Okay. Take the kid who was bullied at school and ended his life by suicide. Semi Touche, if I said his last name correctly. I'm just gonna call him Sammy T. Was bullied because of his glasses, his teeth, whatnot. Ended up losing his life by suicide. Okay, and so the average for the United States is 45K a year. Okay, but I believe in 2023 that shot up to 49,000 people who ended their lives by suicide in the U.S. Okay, and so I don't know the situations behind these suicides. I don't think the story mentioned the situations that led them to end their lives by suicide, but this stuff is real. This stuff is real. This stuff needs to be talked about, and stuff needs to get discussed. And I think if we just have more discussions, people of all ages will see that there is hope. Okay, that there is hope in the circumstances that they are facing. Okay, let's just talk about this stuff. Let's not shame people. Let's not judge people, because you never know what somebody is going through. You never know what somebody's going through. They may have tried everything in the world to help them, and it hasn't worked. And now they think the only way this pain will end is by ending their lives. Just ask Kevin Hines, who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, and um, he ended up surviving. Okay, now the Golden Gate Bridge has like a safety net. Okay, Golden Gate Bridge has a safety net up for people who jump. Okay, so oh yeah, um, and this is something that I also wanted to talk about too. A guy by the name of John Brenkus. Okay, John Brenkus. For those of you who are sports nuts like me, he was the host of used to host a show on ESPN called Sports Science. Okay, and Sports Science was basically okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so John Brenkus was the host of Sports Science. Um, it was a show that basically talked about, basically measured how fast wide receivers run, um, how much velocity quarterbacks throw the ball with. So it was just stuff like that, like how fast CD Lamb runs up the field, Tyreek Hill, how much velocity does Tom Brady have when he throws the ball, stuff like that. And he had a long battle with depression, and he ended his life. Lost his battle to yeah, there it goes right there. Yeah. Yeah, he lost his battle to the oppression. Died by suicide, and he had been battling it for years. Okay, and I did a video a couple of years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, about this, about the fact that and I'm looking at this story right now. I did hit a video when he appeared on Marcellus Wiley's program or podcast, and Never Shut Up podcast. This is when Marcellus Wiley was just starting up. John Brenkus was on, and he talked about how his dog saved his life. Okay, he talked about how his dog saved him from ending his life by suicide. His dog came and I guess either like gnawed at his leg, chewed at his leg, and so his dog saved his life. And so when I heard that he tragically ended his life by suicide, John Brenkus, the first thing I thought about was what he said on Marcellus Wiley's Never Shut Up podcast. Okay, how his dog saved his life. He was 54. Yeah, here it is, right here. Brenkus battled deep-seated depression for several years and was vocal about his struggles, previously telling former NFL player and former Dallas Cowboy, I'm at Marcellus Wiley, about his recovery. This story was written two days ago. So a few days ago, a viral video resurfaced of Brenkus telling the story of his suicide attempt involving, trigger warning, involving a noose around his neck was foiled by his dog, Zeppelin. That put a positive, the video put a positive spin on an otherwise gloomy day of news for fans of the popular sports scientist, kinesiology buff, and former ESPN host. I fell into a very deep depression, Brenkus says to Wiley in the video that began going viral. I came off of selling my company, Sports Science, The isolation you feel living in a mountain town, the cold weather, injuries, things not feeling right. I spiral into a deep depression. His signature upbeat, voiced, masked. His signature upbeat, voiced, masked the dark nature of his story. I was flat out suicidal. So much so, I had a noose tied around my neck. I was ready to do it. And my dog, Zeppelin, came to my rescue. Literally. He pulled on my pants, on my jeans, and was literally driving me crazy. Wouldn't leave me alone, Brenkus added, saying he picked up his phone and called his mom afterward. Yeah. He then went on to 6 different psychologists and psychologists and psychiatrists, finally finding his way, as he told Wiley in the story shared Sunday from his Brinks TV network. Yeah. So I did hit the video on that. Yeah, I did hit a video on that. May have been a year or two ago, and I talked about that, and yeah, that's immediately what I thought about when I heard he ended his life by suicide. John Brenkus. I thought about what he said. Man, I always wondered how he was doing. I really wondered how he was doing after that. And then it comes out at the start of Men's Mental Health Month, June, that he ended his life by suicide. And it's like, yeah, I guess that darkness there, I guess that darkness was just way too strong. I guess that darkness was way too strong for him. For him. Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of Men's Mental Health Month, this thing is slow. Here it goes right there. Okay, so I've been posting stuff on Instagram about Men's Mental Health Month, okay, which is the month of June. So why does Men's Mental Health Month matter? Over 6 million men suffer from depression per year, but only half of those men will ask for help. Men represent 80% of suicides. Okay. Suicide is the second most common cause of death for men under the age of 45. Okay. It is not weak to show emotion. It's okay to cry. You don't have to struggle in silence. And I see a popular thing where they have speak man up. They have man X'd out and say speak up. Okay, speak up. Yeah. It is not unmanly to ask for help. It is not unmanly to struggle. Okay, and I know people who call the 988 line, men who call the 988 line, and think it's unmanly for them to call the ISIS line. No, it's not. It is not unmanly for you to call a crisis line. It's not unmanly to talk about you struggling, okay? And don't believe none of that sure bit that people tell you about about getting help is weak. Okay. No. Getting help is strength. Okay. It is okay. Perfectly okay to get help. For the first couple of years, and when I was younger, okay, I was in a deep depression, and I tried to beat it my own self. And the more I tried to beat it, the worse my plight became. Okay, and so I finally asked for help on my own, and I had never heard of stigma. I had never heard of stigma, any sort of mental health stigma. When I was younger, I never heard of anything like that. All I know was um, I could not tell. I could not tell. I didn't want to tell my parents, and I didn't want to let anybody else, for that matter, know that I was in counseling. Okay, and so yeah. So man, it's okay to struggle. It's okay to call 988. It's okay to ask for help. Um, Getting help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Okay, so if you're suicidal, anxious, depressed, hey, you matter. You are loved. You are more than enough, and you are not a burden. Okay, and just man, let's just have let's just have more conversations about mental health with men. Okay, then it'll normalize. It will really normalize the conversation. Encourage men to get help. Okay, I talk about this all the time. Dak Prescott struggles with mental health. Hayden Hurst, NFL tight end, struggled with his mental health. Attempted suicide. Okay, got help. Kevin Love, NBA player, deals with depression. All right. Solomon Thomas, who is Dak Prescott's teammate on the Dallas Cowboys. His sister ended his life by suicide, and he went through some hard days. Probably still goes through some hard days after his sister ended his life by suicide. Okay, so hey, if these guys can get help, if NFL players can ask for help, NBA players can ask for help, man, you can do it too. Okay, because they obviously don't believe that getting help is a sign of weakness. Okay, so yeah. All right, that's it, and that's all for the Sean For Real podcast. I am out of here. Peace out. Big out.